we're not getting ahead of ourselves. We're focused right now on the Japan game, evaluating performances there, just looking to have a good team performance. That's the most important thing. And, we talked about putting the players at ease, focusing on the team performance rather than individual performances. And for tomorrow, we decided to go with Matt in goal. Regarding Eunice being absent, this gives an opportunity for guys like Luca, for guys like Kellen, for guys like Johnny Cardoza, who we know is a really good player. So I think those three can fill it admirably. And then we also have Malik Tillman or perhaps Gio Reyna that can play the midfield position. So just depending on what type of look we want, how aggressive we want to be both offensively and defensively, we'll make that decision.
Next will be Henry Bushnell from Yahoo.
Thanks, Michael. And hey, Greg, I appreciate you doing this. Just to follow up your answer there, I guess, you mentioned those like 5 names or so. I don't think you mentioned Brendan there. Are you considering him primarily or almost exclusively as a winger at this point?
That was a mistake. It's been a long day here, Henry. I'm fatigued. I talked to your group for a long time. They tired me out. I have no more energy now. No, it was a mistake. We could also play Brendan there. He's played there before, understands the position. So whether Brendan's on the wing, in midfield, wherever he may play, we know it can help us between the lines as well.
Next will be Ron Blum from the Associated Press.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Ron.
Looking at some of the players who come in not having played a lot of 90-minute matches yet, how much can you use Christian, Gio, Serginho, Luca, or do you have to manage their minutes in a bigger picture?
I think it's where, the 6 subs in friendly games comes into play. We'll manage those guys until they get fatigued. And then when they can't produce their actions anymore, we'll get them off the field. And that's, I think that's the beauty of having 6 substitutes. I can imagine at the World Cup, some teams will be doing that for players that aren't playing 90 minutes and aren't completely fit. So I think there's a balance. Ideally, you want guys that can produce, high energy throughout the 90 minutes, but with 6 subs, it gives you some flexibility.
We'll go to Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Thank you, Michael, and thanks, Greg, as always, for the time. Greg, obviously, we've spoken a lot over time about your belief in your tactical system, and you've talked a lot about it and wanting to stick to it. You've also, as you've spoken with us this year about a little bit of flexibility you've had in midfield and defense with the 3-2-2-3 that you played during the summer. I'm curious how much flexibility you see with the front line in particular. I know we've asked you a lot of questions about this, I realize, but it seems, at least to a lot of outsiders, the 3 strikers you have in this camp are of similar profile. I wonder if you see it that way and what virtue you see in that versus the option of bringing in a striker, whether it be Haji, Jordan, whoever, who's a different kind of striker, just to have a different option. Thanks.
Yeah, to me, I'm not there with you, Jonathan. That's the issue. I think they have similar profiles, but I wouldn't say they're the same. I don't think you can compare, Ricardo Pepi in the air or Josh Sargent in the air to Jesus. I don't think you can compare Jesus's playmaking ability to Pepi, so I think they are different. They have some similar attributes, but when you're talking about profiles, I think they each give us something different. And it may be subtle differences, but nonetheless, they are differences. When you're talking about a guy like Jordan, he to me is a completely different profile, which could be useful as well. I don't want to ever insinuate that, that wouldn't be helpful to us potentially. So we're just evaluating. We again, I thought we have a lot of information on Jordan. We got good information on what he's doing now in the Bundesliga. We can continue to monitor him, Haji, any other forwards, and Brandon, any other forwards in the pool. And then now we get to look at up close Josh, who we haven't had in camp in a while, who was a big part of our group, the summer of 21 and in the start of qualifying. And then Ricardo, who in qualifying, really made a big difference for us in a lot of games. So we want to give these guys an opportunity to evaluate them again.
Next will be Lakin Littman.
Hey, Greg. I wanted to ask you a question about Walker. How would you describe what he brings that maybe nobody else on the team does, and what makes him unique?
So I think, with Walker, it's, he's authentic, and a lot of guys, we have a really good group of guys, and they're all, easy to talk to, easy to get along with. They get along with each other really well. But with Walker, it's, what you see is what you get. And he wears his heart on his sleeve. He goes out and competes every single day, and he's a warrior. And I think, that's what you want, in center backs as a starting point. And then that's what you want as a teammate. So guys can rely on him, to give 100% in everything he's going to do. Besides from that, a key quality that he has is he's exceptional in the air. There's not many people that you see that are that good at heading, and it helps the team, especially when we're pressing and teams are playing long.
We'll go to Iva Skolarsep from SBI Soccer.
Greg, I wanted to ask you about your center backs. You mentioned this morning you can start Walker and Aaron. As far as their development in the passing game, there's been a lot said about their strengths or weaknesses in that. How have you seen them kind of evolve over these couple of years in the passing side of things? Walker, it's pretty clear you see improvements. Aaron seems like he doesn't get credit for his passing ability. How have you seen that grow? And as far as Josh Sargent goes, you mentioned you hadn't had him in a while. What are the biggest changes you see in his game now that you have him in now? Do you see changes?
He looks
improvements?
great. No, he looks great. Confidence is a big thing, but also strength. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. He gotten quicker, more decisive with his movements. He's looked really good in training, and it's been good to have him in camp. And he's at a tough road, and but now it shows what he can do when he's in form. He's been showing that. Regarding the center backs and passing, what I'd say is that it's always difficult when you're asked to do something that you're not necessarily asked to do with your clubs. And sometimes, it's different what we're asking them to do than what Aaron's doing at Red Bull, Walker's doing in Nashville, and that's fine. When they come into camp, what they've shown is this ability to adapt and to get with the program really quickly. And we're excited to see what they can do tomorrow, and then have a chance to evaluate some of the other center backs in the camp as well, and eventually compete in a World Cup.
We'll go to Nico Cantor from CBS Sports.
Hey, Greg. Thanks, Michael. Good to see you guys.
Nico.
Coach, I wanted to get your take on a situation that obviously is going through all 32 coaches' minds at this point in the cycle, right? And it's making cuts and decisions. For example, Tata Martino said that he takes into consideration more the long-term process, I guess, a player has been with a coach and in a program over current form. So I just wanted to get your take on this. What weighs more when you need to make this decision in about a month and a half time, even less? What weighs more in your mind? Is it current form or what the player has done overall with you in the program?
I'm sure that it's very difficult to define exactly, because to me, it's not an exact science. And what we're doing is we're trying to put together the best possible team that can perform at our best levels at the World Cup. And for that, we pick players that fit the way we want to play and the way we are and our team culture. And so, there's not one easy answer for that. What I say is we take the decisions very seriously. We deliberate continuously. And, we feel bad for guys and happy for other guys. It's an emotional process where, we care for each and every one of our players in our player pool. Every player that's ever, stepped on the field or stepped on a training field for us since we've been involved in 2019, we care for. And they're never easy conversations, but in the end, we're trying to do what we feel is best for the team, and the team is always going to be the most important thing.
Next will be Charlie Bone from MLSsoccer.com.
Hi, Greg. Good luck tomorrow. I wanted to ask you about Christian.
Thanks, Charlie.
He's still seems so integral to your group, such a strong personality. What's your assessment of his physical, mental state coming into this window? And also a part of that is he made some headlines this week with the book excerpts and then the knowledge that that's coming out. Wonder what your thoughts were on that, and if you're gonna be featured in the book the way Thomas Tuchel is.
Oh my God, that would be great. Headlines right around the opening game. Now, listen, I think Christian is an ultimate competitor. He's a guy he just turned 24 on Sunday, and it seems like he's been in football for the last decade. He's seen it all, done it all. And, I think the World Cup will be a great moment for him as a player. But what I've seen the most from him is his growth as a person. And that's been gratifying over these last 3.5 years. He's really matured, really has been able to handle adversity. And, every player's situation at their club is different. And it's how they navigate through that that's important. And he's navigating through it in a great way. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for him.
We'll go to Brian Shredder from American Soccer Now.
Thank you, Michael. Greg, throughout the cycle, you've rotated captains. I'm wondering if you have made a timeline as to when you're going to name a captain for the World Cup, if that's going to take place. And then a second question, I'm also wondering if you could speak about Sam Vines and what you've seen from him. You said this was a big camp for him, a big opportunity. What have you seen so far from him in the first couple of days of training?
What I've noticed from him is, in particular, is the speed of his decision making has gotten better, has improved. He looks a lot more sure of himself, aggressive, attacking down the left wing. He's been coming inside a little bit with his club sometimes, and that helps give him flexibility. But I see a confident Sam Vines, a guy who has been embracing 1v1 duels, embracing getting the ball under pressure and being able to play out of pressure. And overall, he's a guy that I've been really pleased with this camp. He's another one that's going to start tomorrow. So really excited about him and him getting this opportunity, because when he's played with us, he's played well. So excited to see him get this opportunity tomorrow.
We have Weston and Tyler ready, so we're going to say thanks to Greg, and we'll be right back with Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams.
Remember the shooting.
And we are back with U.S. Men's Now Team midfielders Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie. We will begin with your questions, and we'll start with Kyle Bond.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate your time, guys. Thank you very much. I just want to see if you guys are, obviously Yunus Musa is not in camp. You guys are part of a midfield trio that's getting some good consistency recently at the national team. But without Yunus, how important is his miss at camp to build chemistry moving forward? And how important is it to have, some other guys who are battling for spots to get some time playing with you?
One of the key attributes of our team is obviously the depth in our team. Yunus is a vital part to our midfield, and obviously what he brings to the team is something special. And me and Weston have, obviously built a good chemistry with him, but we look forward to, giving guys opportunities to play. We have guys like Luca Del Torre that can step in there, Kellen Acosta that can step in there, that are all proven guys. So, they'll step in and do their job.
And Johnny.
I mean, the list goes on. Brendan, everyone.
True.
Next will be Ryan Talmadge from Goal.com.
Hey guys, kind of following up on that, but just looking more so at you two. Obviously, you guys have kind of played together since you were kids in a way, and you've known each other and played with each other and followed each other for a long time. But obviously that's kind of all coming to the forefront now, where you're all both going to kind of face this test going to a World Cup. What have you learned about each other and playing with each other and working alongside each other maybe in the last year that you didn't know before? And what are some of the things that you two have kind of developed over the last year that allows you to work with those third guys that come in no matter who it may be?
I think one of the things, as far as me and Tyler have learned about each other is that he does all the running and I do all the playing. But I'm just kidding. No, but I think just us being together for as long as we have, and like you said, knowing each other for so long, we've, I think, developed a relationship that we know each other's tendencies, we know each other's abilities, we know each other's strengths and weaknesses and how to cover for one another. And I think, many of the guys that are coming in that may have not been with the group so long, we've played with them or against them at some point in our lives, in our careers. And, say, for instance, Luca De La Torre, that maybe came on a little bit later into the national team. Me and Tyler have been playing with them since we're 14, 15 years old. So I think whoever comes in, we have some sort of familiarity. Yeah. Familiarity with each player that comes in. So I don't think it's really something that we're worried about, but we learn about each other every day and every training.
Next will be Michael DeCourcy.
This is for both guys, if you would. You've both been involved to a large extent in the leadership of this team, but you're both obviously still very young. Neither of you has played at a World Cup. So I wondered how you view the leadership structure of the team. How important is it to have maybe some guys, even if there's not a ton of World Cup experience, guys who are a little older to help you guys along? Can you sort of go through how the leadership has developed through Gold Cup, Nations League, qualifying, and now the prep for the World Cup?
Well, I think that the leadership, in a sense, always starts with the staff and the coaching staff, and they've done a great job of obviously leading us, knowing that we're a young team, teaching us along the way, allowing us room for mistakes and growth. But Gregg has said since day one that the leadership was going to be a shared responsibility. So as young guys, you never have to feel like you have to take responsibility. Everyone's going to lead in completely different ways. We have some guys that are vocal leaders. We have some guys that lead by example, but everyone uses their strengths in different ways. So, Weston is a guy that I would say tries to lead by example for the most part. Especially on the field, the way that he plays, inspires a lot of the guys to their strengths. Sometimes I can be vocal, but also a guy that also leads more by example than anything. So it's a shared responsibility at the end of the day.
Did you want to hear from me?
Next will be Ron Blum from the Associated Press.
Hi, for Weston and for Tyler. Being 2 months out from the World Cup, you're obviously at a point where an injury with your club could sideline you. Yet you can't let that really go through your mind when you're playing. How do you balance that, the pressure to stay fit versus giving what you normally give each day in, day out at your club level?
I think in anybody's career, there's ups and downs, and there's moments where you can't really control what happens. So what happens is what happens, and you have to accept it. But obviously, you try and do everything you can to prevent an injury. But I don't think anybody here is gonna play less aggressive or play safe whenever we're at our club teams or whenever we do play these friendly games, because at the end of the day, we're athletes. We compete. We will play to win. We don't play to be available for future games. Like we want to go out there and show what we can do. And Tyler, for instance, I don't think Tyler, going back to the Premier League, is gonna try and play a little bit softer than he does, just so he can be available. That's just something that comes with the territory, and that's something that comes with being an athlete. You have to accept it, and you don't play any less strong and any less with any less desire.
Tyler, could you take that one too, please?
Yeah, I mean, I think injuries are obviously part of the game. You know, it definitely sucks to see some of the guys that are injured at this moment right now, right? But it also, in a sense, gives them time to be healthy for a World Cup. But just like Weston said, the intensity for our team is the starting point. So guys that aren't going to play intense, aren't going to train intense, aren't going to be a part of this team, and that's why our team is special. We fight for each other, we battle for each other. We just focus on being in the moment and playing to our best of our ability. So you know, we don't think too far ahead or get caught up in what the future holds. We need to focus on improving now, and yeah, steadily making progress.
We'll go to John Lupo from Vobble.
Thanks. Excuse me. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for doing this to both of you. Playing Japan, playing a team that has a different style than what you've played in qualifiers and in some of the friendlies. I don't know how much you've seen of them, but from what you know of them, what do you think will be some of the keys tomorrow? And also, do you think it's good going into the World Cup, seeing a different style, seeing a team that may play totally different than from what you guys have faced so far?
I think it's amazing, you know, playing these friendlies now because like you said, we're not familiar with them. You know, maybe some players have played against some of the players on their team over the weekends, but you know, that's one of the big things about the World Cup. Sometimes you play against teams that you haven't played against before, that you've never experienced playing against. And I think this right here is definitely going to help us, I guess, diversify our play a little bit and adapt to certain situations and certain gameplays that we may not be familiar with. From Japan, I haven't really watched them a lot. Maybe Tyler can speak a little bit more on that, but I expect what any team out there is going to give is 100%. I expect a hard-fought game and a game that both teams are trying to win. Yep.
Next will be Arch Bell from CONCACAF.com.
Thanks, Michael. Guys, thanks so much to y'all for doing this. I want you to take me back to about 5 years ago, that first friendly against Portugal, when you each got your debut, teenagers debuting for the U.S. national team. Take me back to that moment. It was it was a month after the Trinidad game and everything, but what was the mood like in that camp, and what are your recollections of that camp and that game? Did it feel exciting, like the dawn of a new era, or was there still a little bit of a feeling of somber from the previous month and the journey that's been in these last 5 years for y'all? But take me back to that Portugal friendly November of 2017 and what that experience was like for y'all.
Yeah, maybe we were a bit naive at that moment in time. I mean, I would say that a lot of the young guys that got called were obviously really excited for the opportunity. You know, we were already probably past that moment in time that we hadn't qualified for the World Cup because we weren't a part of that group. Although we knew it probably affected U.S. soccer in the bigger picture. We were only youth national teams at that player and focusing on what we were doing at our clubs. We didn't really have the picture in our head probably that if we didn't qualify, then a month later we'd be getting called into our first national team camp. So everything was accelerated in a sense. We were obviously happy to be back together. It was my first time playing with guys like Weston and some of the younger guys since the residency days. So when we got to see each other again and play with each other, yeah, we were just, awfully excited. So, things progressed rather quickly from that point on. And, we kind of became a little bit more established, but we had to earn the respect of all the guys that came in off that roster of not qualifying for the World Cup, because at the end of the day, those were the veterans that still held seniority, and, we had to prove ourselves to them. So it was a special moment for us, him obviously scoring on his debut, and us, we tied that game, right? Tied the game? Yeah, we tied that game against a really good opponent. So it kind of showed that the young guns could play and manage themselves against an opponent like that.
Do you know that November 14th is when we play that game? And November 14th is when the World Cup list is going to be submitted.
Yeah, crazy.
5-year anniversary.
Hope we're on it.
Yeah.
Next will be Lakin Littman.
Hey guys, hopefully you can both comment on this. How would you describe what Walker brings that maybe nobody else on the team does, and what do you guys think makes him unique?
His hair. His hair. Walker is someone actually I've known for quite some time now. Back when I was back at FC Dallas, he's always had that sense of ability to lead teams. He's with the veterans that came before him and that we played with back in Portugal for our debuts. He stepped in and kind of taken on that role a little bit in a sense of like whenever we're struggling even off the field and on the field, like that's someone that you can go and talk to. As far as playing ability wise, he's just a rock in the back. You can count on him to win aerial duels. You can count on him to sacrifice his body in front of a shot. Like those are center backs that players are normally don't want to play against, and it's always good to have someone like that in your corner because that he's going to give everything that he can to defend and to make you guys feel comfortable in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I love about this team and I love about Walker is Walker's just himself. He's never tried to change for anybody. He's never tried to change how he plays the game. He's an intense player. He's a leader. But he just does his job on a consistent basis. And he's someone that, like Weston said, everyone can rely on at the end of the day. And you need those types of players in your team that, obviously we're not week in, week out, but every single game, what you're going to get from him. So he's solid for us. Yeah. Love that guy.
We'll go to Doug McIntyre.
Appreciate it, Michael. Hi, guys. Good to see you. Just to go back to the leadership question for a second. Tyler, you've worn the armband in the past. I mean, even since you were a teenager, I think, people saw your leadership, your maturity. Curious where that comes from. And then Weston, on Tyler, has he always been like that? And how have you seen Tyler change over the last number of years? Thanks, guys.
I mean, I've had to deal with Weston for a long time. So if one of us is going to act crazy all the time, the other one has to act calm. But no, yeah. I mean, growing up, I think just being raised by a single mother and, not having a father figure in my life, my entire life. I had to just figure out who I was as a person and just figure out a lot of things on my own from that sense. So when my stepfather came into my life, who's my dad, obviously, I was very fortunate. He helped kind of nurture me into, a young man. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is always having mutual respect between, me and my teammates. Feel like I'm here for them if they need me. But on the fields, yeah, it's always been a role I've taken. Whether I was playing my own age group, playing up, I wasn't afraid of really what people thought about me or anything like that. I just wanted to be there and be consistent, be the guy that, people could rely on if they needed to.
Yeah, I think I've known Tyler since the residency days, and he's always been that kind of character where, if he came up and played a year up with us, like he didn't shy away. He took on the role that he was given. And I think even in the national team youth, you captained also for sure. But the thing is, what's amazing about it is that even whenever he doesn't wear the captain's armband, sometimes you still get a sense of his leadership role that he takes on within the team. I think for this team in general, like he said, it's a shared responsibility. And the amazing thing about it is like everyone at any given moment on this team can be leaders. And I think everyone on this team could be prepared to be a leader. And so whenever the armband is just it doesn't really, I don't think it plays a role for anyone on this team, because we all know at the end of the day, we have the same goal, we have the same mission, and we all are going to hold each other accountable at the end of the day.
We have time for a couple more, and we'll continue with Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you guys for the time today. We were talking with Gregg just a few minutes ago before you guys came on about the differences in the strikers in the pool, including the three that are here in this camp. And I wonder, for the two of you, how does it change, if at all, how you play the game and how you see things in front of you and passing and creating and so on? If whoever is, up front is different from one game or one half to the next or so on.
You got it. I got it. Yeah, I mean, I think that, again, one of the keys to our team is our depth, and you already see, based off of the players that are here, all of them can play at any different moment and completely offer something different. I think one of the main points about our team is that we have a system, and, you know, although, yeah, we have individual quality all over the field, and, you know, 1 through 26, there's all different types of quality. When you come into the system, you have to know your role and you have to know your job on the day and for who we're playing against. So yeah, although, you know, tomorrow it could be Jesus, it could be Josh, it could be Pepe, we know what we're going to get from them, because in our system, the 9 plays in a similar way each time they step on the field. So yeah, we have some special players up front. They all bring different qualities, but I think we're comfortable, and we don't have to, you know, really vary or change our games based off of who's there, because we know what the number 9 has to do in our system.
At the end of the day, for me, a number 9 just has to score goals and be available for his teammates, and you know, be an option. And like he said, from all 3 of the strikers, all 3 of them have showed that they can score goals, and all 3 of them have showed that they can be support players for the team, and also defensively against the ball. So like you said, we don't really have to change our system just based on who's playing and who's in that starting position. We all know our roles, we all know what we have to do, and we all try and get the job done.
Last question comes from Andrew Jones.
Thanks, MK. Weston and Tyler, you had Christian and Johnny's birthday this week. Besides bringing yourselves, did anyone get him anything get one of them any birthday gifts for the team, or have any B-Day quick celebrations? And Alfonso Davies was talking about how he was Canada's best FIFA player in terms of playing the FIFA game. Who is the best FIFA player on the USMNT at the moment?
First of all, I want to say that's a dope picture in the background. Respect for that.
Hey.
Second of all, best FIFA player for sure, me. And as far as the celebration of birthdays, we always have a ritual. You know, the chef always makes a cake, brings it out, we sing, we make him do a speech.
Johnny's speech was really good.
Yeah, it was actually. Johnny gave a good speech.
Christian, we didn't celebrate Christian's birthday here though, right? It was the day before camp.
Yeah, it was the day before camp.
So we wished him happy birthday, and he can buy himself whatever he wants. So
yes.
I don't need to buy.
Not wasting my money on him. Be buying me a gift.
But FIFA, yeah. Weston can decide who's the best at FIFA. I already
decided.
So. Okay, yeah. I'm not saying you're the best at anything.
They all just want me to lose. That's why.
We don't want to see Weston win.
2 games to go before the start of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. We begin with USA Japan on ESPN2, Une Mas at 2 a.m. We'll see you at 8:26 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Thanks, and have a good rest of your day.